Now that we've discussed the reasons for reloading and the very basic process of it, let's talk a little bit about the tools. You're going to need a reloading press. For most of your rifle and pistol work, a single stage press is probably the way to go. It affords the most attention to detail. There are cases where a progressive press, once you're more experienced, can generate a great volume of ammunition. However, that is for the more advanced reloader, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the series. A single stage press performs one operation at a time, be it resizing or seating a bullet or seating a primer. And what you're going to need is a press that will work with the cartridge that you are using. They make shorter presses if you're a pistol only guy. They make some larger presses like the Ultra Mag that we're going to talk about in a little bit. For some of the longer cases, some of the bigger safari guns, cowboy action guns like a 45-120 or maybe a 338 Lapua if you like to shoot long range targets. So once you've got a press that suits your needs, be it single stage or a turret press, which is another viable option, it's got a round turret head, and you can see a photo of it right here, which will allow you to switch between reloading dies. The reloading die is the second in the chain. These are the little miracles we talked about that resize the brass down into shape. They can have a die for flaring the case end on a straight-walled case, and they have a third die for seating the bullet back into the case and squeezing everything tight. A good set of reloading dies, such as the Redding we're going to be using here, are imperative. Your ammunition will usually only be as good as your technique and your dies are. I like Redding. They're a very consistent product, one of the best on the markets, and I've never had anything go wrong with a set of Redding dies. If you want very precise ammunition, this is Redding's micrometer adjustable seating die, and as you can see, it's got a micrometer on here, which is spring-loaded for a proper tension to allow you to generate a precise and specific seating depth once the bullet is pressed back into the case. Regardless, you'll need a set of reloading dies for every caliber you intend to reload. You need a means of measuring both cases and loaded cartridges. I've got here an RCBS electronic digital caliper, which is very simple and easy to use. It has a digital readout, and once you open it up like such, it'll give you a precise measurement. If we were to measure this 458 case, it would indicate that it is exactly 2.496 inches long. This allows us to make sure that our finished ammunition is of a proper length to function through the magazine. It also allows us to trim our brass to a specified length in the reloading manual. The trimmer is another tool. We have an RCBS case prep station set up over here, which you'll see shortly, that allows us to trim down the brass to a specific length. We said that brass is a malleable metal, and that's why it was chosen as the material for the combustion chamber. It has a tendency to flow forward upon stretching. Every time you fire it, that brass will grow a little bit longer. The case will become thinner until it gets to the point where you can't use it. We need a means of trimming it, and that RCBS case prep station is a fantastic tool. We have here a simple little chamfer and deburring tool. Funny little words. What this does, it puts a beveled edge on the inside of the case mouth, and we'll go through this in the functionality and when we actually load the case. The other side of it cleverly takes any and all burrs off the case mouth so that your ammunition will feed nicely into your firearm. The reloading scale is something you're going to use all the time, and I've got here a classic. I've got an RCBS 505. It's a grain scale measured, calibrated in grains for properly measuring. You use it to measure your powder charges. You use it to measure your bullets when you want to perform very accurate long-range shooting. Weighing your bullets is a great technique. So a grain scale is one of your best friends. I also have over here one of the electronic scales. It's an RCBS 1500 Chargemaster, which is hooked up to a powder dispenser to electronically weigh the grains of powder right down to 1/10 of a grain. A powder trickler will sit next to the grain scale and allow you to disperse little bits of powder at a time. It has a worm screw type function in here, which will deliver several grains for each little twist so that a precise measurement of powder can be established. Shell holders are what get inserted into the die. They look like a mirror image of the rim of the cartridge you're loading. They work in conjunction with the reloading dies, and that is what presses it up into the case and holds it back down. You're going to need some other basic tools as well. Some of your die sets will come working with a 1/2-inch wrench or a adjustable wrench flat. Sometimes you'll need a set of Allen keys. I've got a convenient little collection of them on this little hold it in one piece kind of deal. To adjust the lock rings, to adjust different parts of the trimming tool. So a good set of Allen keys is important. Flathead screwdrivers, Phillips head screwdrivers for different functions. A good basic, nothing over the top, but a good basic set of tools in your shop should be good. A powder funnel, simple little piece of plastic with a properly shaped mouth so that when we put it over top of the case for charging it with powder, keeps it neatly concise. It doesn't allow any of the powder to spill out onto your bench because that can create one heck of a mess. It's also static free because static electricity will ignite powder. Once we've popped a primer out, you want to keep your brass clean. This is an RCBS primer pocket cleaning tool. It's a simple little metal brush which goes right into the primer pocket and scrapes any and all residue from a burnt primer out. I'm not going to bore you with the process of cleaning your brass. There's several good tools on the market. I like the RCBS ultrasonic cleaner. What it does, it's a little bath of a chemical solution. You put your dirty brass in, and the ultrasonic motion gets all that grime and burnt powder residue and fingerprints off your brass. Once you rinse them, I like to put the cleaned brass into the RCBS vibratory cleaner, which uses some sort of media, either corn cob or walnut or stainless steel, to actually put a polish onto your cases so that they feed really nicely.